DFCRadio.com.
Oh, hey there, gentle listeners. This is your buddy, Herb the Wizard, and I'll be ready in just a minute. Just let me find it on the dial.
New RCA Victor conceived, developed, and designed tape cartridge for easy magazine loading to make playing a tape as simple as or even easier than playing a record.
Well, there we go. This is it. Get ready. We're going to start the show. Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to this, our 60th episode of the Grubby Cup Show. I'm awful glad you tuned in. This week, we're gonna play some stuff we got at the Maxim Yield Show in Seattle. Yeah, we had a really good time. And now it's time to listen to a little bit of the wonderful and delightful Kelly Erickson, currently playing with Teaser.
You got some seeds to grow, he'll keep you in the know. Variety to claim, so baby, what's his name? He's the man to know. He'll make your garden grow. Grubby Cup's his name. He's the man who'll make a change.
Hello there, gentle listeners. This is your roving bard, Leaf Malone, reporting on the Grow with Grubby Cup show, brought to you by DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. And here they are, the buds of the circle table. Oh, see, it is I, Sancho Banza. Good evening. I'm Alfred the Dungeon Keeper. Hi there, friends. This is the Irreverent Joe, and I'm Herb the Wizard. Psst, it's me, Vinny the Viper, the Sheriff of Riding Puck. And I am your host, the Green Knight, Grubby Cup Stash. Thank you for joining us here on the Grow with Grubby Cup show. Brought to you by the good folks over at DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. Thank you all, gentle listeners, for tuning in. I gotta say, I'm amazed we've made it to 60 episodes. I mean, I know we're in our second season, but it's been cool. So I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Now, to start with, let's go ahead and do the events calendar from GrowTag. On 3/21 in Maine, the Urban Garden Center in Portland is having a Customer Appreciation Day. April 17th in New York, Mike's Nursery is having a Customer Appreciation Day. And on the 18th, Florida's Urban Roots Garden Supply is having a Customer Appreciation Day. On 6/19 in Michigan, UPGC is having a party, and I'm not sure exactly what they're calling it, but I'm going, and it's really, I think, going to be a blast. It's up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so it's not in the Mitten part. It's kind of up in the Forgotten part. And I have to admit, I've never been in the area, but Mike over there seems like a really cool cat. and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, to continue, on 6/20 in Maine, Urban Garden Center Brewer is having their Customer Appreciation Day. And that's all we have for this week on the upcoming events calendar. If you've got a hydroponics store Customer Appreciation Day or similar event, please contact me at grubbycup.com and we'll announce your Customer Appreciation Day or event on the Grow with Grubby Cup show, and also list it on the front page at grubbycup.com.
Hello there, Mr. and Mrs. Jenna Reader and all the ships at sea. Now it's time for... The Grubby Cup is a portion of our program where we take questions from you, the general listeners, and read them here on air. Please keep in mind that that plant that shall not be named shall continue not to be named, so please don't include it in your letters.
Hey, Grubby, I got a letter for you. All right, Herb. What's the letter say?
The letter, it says, Dear Grubby Cup, can you please remind me how to do the grams per day thing? Nothing long-winded, just a short explanation, please. Signed, Julian Seized Her.
Sure thing, Herb. Grams per day, it's one of the more useful and least used calculations, and that's kind of a shame because it's a really handy figure to have. What you do is you figure out how much weight you have in harvest in grams, and to do that, just weigh what you got, and then take your planting date and your harvest date and subtract so that you find out how many days it took to grow. So let's say, for example, it took 70 days to grow. And then let's say that your harvest was 35 grams. Well, then all you do is you take 70 and divide it by 35, and you find that your garden is producing a half a gram a day. It's that simple. And the reason that this can really come in handy is that if you know that your garden is producing, a half a gram per day, then you can figure out, the expenses from your nutrients or whatever else that you're using, your electricity costs, etc., and come up with some hard figures on how much it costs you to grow, how much in harvest. And giving you that rate also allows you to compare grows of different lengths, because you're calculating how productive the garden was per day. Then even if, one indoor growing season is 2 months and one is 2 months and 2 weeks, you can calculate how productive by day each of those two were and, figure out which way is most productive. Anyway, I don't want to get long-winded about it, so I hope that answered your question. Next letter.
Oh, gee whiz, Grubby, here's another letter. The letter, it reads, Dear Grubby Cup, Happy St. Patrick's Day. And it's signed Lucky the Leprechaun.
Well, thank you very much, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you too. This is one of those holidays that people get a little, squirrely about as far as, what it means and what you're celebrating and all that thing. Throughout time, throughout ages, the spring solstice, the spring equinox has been a good excuse to celebrate. It goes back to agricultural roots because it's when the light and dark periods approach 12/12. That's why they're called an equinox. It's also the flowering cycle or flowering lighting for the short day plants. which, as we've discussed before, are actually long night plants, but, whatever. And, St. Patrick's Day hits about around the equinox as an excuse to celebrate the equinox. Various people, they get into power and they, kind of co-opt previous holidays to, make them their own, that sort of thing. And, that's just how it goes. But the spring equinox is important because it's the point where the lighting is close to 12/12, which is flowering for the short day, which, as we've discussed, are actually long night plants, much like you hit the fall equinox when it goes that way again, because the light cycles, the days get longer in the summer, which is growth lighting for short day plants. And then as the day gets shorter, it triggers flowering, which is why short day plants will bloom in the fall. And if you're lucky enough to have a mild spring, you can use that to get those same plants to flower for a quick early spring harvest. It's a little late to start that now, but in general, celebrating the fall and spring equinoxes and at least the winter solstice and quite often the summer solstice are common events worldwide to celebrate in some form or another, even if they don't get the dates exactly right and they've co-opted the seasons to celebrate other things. They're still celebrated. And I think that's a nice thing because that goes back, several thousand years. Pretty much as soon as we figured it out, we started keeping track of that as a race, as the human race.
Well, hey, there, Grubby Cup, we better hurry or we're going to be late for the Max Yield show, and we don't want to do that because the Max Yield show was, it was like a week ago, so in order to get there on time, we're going to have to use your magic Tempest Rewindiers. Alright, it's earlier now, and it's almost time, and we're gonna go to Max Yield Show, and we'll have a really good time, so you guys all come along with us, but first, we're gonna have a couple words from our sponsors.
And now, for a few words from our sponsors. The Grow with Grubby Cup show is brought to you in part by One Foot in Front of the Other Travel. Put one foot in front of the other and repeat as needed. Also brought to you by the very nice folks over at MyCO2. Got to give a huge shout out to the MyCO2 guys. They, Donnie over there gave me a ride to the show and gave me a ride back. And I thought that was very nice of them and very cool. And it was nice getting to hang out with them. We'll have to have them on the show here coming up before too long. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on dfzradio.com.
Your garden's looking far out. You must listen to dfzradio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and that was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man, I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
DFZRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on the DFZ Radio Network at DFZRadio.com. Hello, gentle listeners and all the ships at sea. This is your wandering bard, Leaf Malone. And now it's time for
a visit to the Maximum Yield Indoor Garden Expo.
Hi, and I'm here at Maximum Yield's Indoor Garden Expo, and I've got to say, if you haven't been to the Seattle area, it is worth going by to check out. I had the opportunity, I took a ferry, which are really expensive, but it was a cool little trip. We went over to one of the little islands, had a couple of beers, got to meet with a couple of friends of mine, Jackson Ava, and it is a cool place to kind of hang out. For reference, it struck me as kind of like a San Francisco light. It was a neater, cleaner, less intense version of San Francisco as far as the vibe I picked up wandering around. And I had a good time just kind of wandering around, taking in the sights. Found this really cool little Euro hole-in-the-wall place. And the Euros were really pretty good. And I also had the opportunity to snag a Japanese gourmet hot dog. I'm not quite sure what the Asian influence was supposed to be, but it was a good dog, I have to admit. And I had a good time. Let's see if we can find somebody to talk to us.
Oh, hey, Grubby. Yuck. Here's Mark from Gringo. Maybe he'll give us a little bit of an interview.
And this is Grubby Cup Stash. I'm here at the Maximum Yield Indoor Garden Expo in Seattle. I'm here with Mark from Green Grow.
How you doing?
And what niftiness brings you to Seattle there?
Yeah, we're here today at the Indoor Gardening Expo, pushing our line of organic dry amendment products with mycorrhizae and biochar laced in them. You know, we're here to help people revitalize their soil, teach them how to grow in soil that's years old. Could be 5-10 years old. We can help revitalize that soil and make it brand new again.
And you mentioned biochar. There's a lot of buzz about biochar, but what is it and why would one use it for their garden?
Sure, yeah. Biochar is an old kind of rediscovered technology from the Native Americans, specifically in South America, Amazonian region. We called it terra preta, or dark earth, because what they did 500 to 1,000 years ago is they'd bury burnt hardwood into their soil every year to add life and carbon back into it. And usually they had compost piles as their garbage stashes, so every year before they'd move locations, they'd bury their compost with their biochar in the soil. And over time, they created the most rich carbon-laden soil on the planet. And to this day, they've been gone for 500 years out of those regions. They still have the most fertile soil on the planet. So they had something figured out. And, you know, biochar is great for revitalizing soil carbon levels. And when you have higher levels of carbon in your soil, bacteria, fungi, worms, nematodes, everything comes rushing into it. So you can see how that's going to take your soil to the next level.
And biochar is included in which of your products?
We have the Earthshine Biochar Amendment, which is more of a pure biochar with a little bit of glacial rock, soybean meal proteins, kind of for basic soil recycling. And then we put biochar in our veg food by Nature's Pride and our bloom food. So, yeah, just to kind of give it a little punch of carbon.
And speaking of which, what is Nature's Pride?
Yeah, Nature's Pride is a complex 14-ingredient amendment-based dry. So you can use it for outdoors or indoors, but you just top dress with it. It's a micronized powder that has all your favorite amendments like seabird guano, bat guano, mycorrhizae, biochar, crab meal, everything else.
All very good stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and then we specialize in mycorrhizae, and that's important for the soil in terms of soil biology. Having mycorrhizae on your roots is going to definitely help your plants take up more nutrients, conserve more water, and overall, it's going to create a better biodiversity in the soil in general.
Well, very cool. And once again, this has been Mike with Green Grow.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
And talk at you again soon.
Oh, hey, Grubby. Look. Over there, it's a tissue culture guy. It's Bill Graham. Let's see if he can talk to us.
My pleasure. It's great to see you here, and hello to all of your audience out there.
For those of you that aren't aware, Bill Graham is one of the industry leaders in
plant tissue culture, cloning, propagation.
And what is tissue culture in the short version? We're going to have Bill back at some point for an in-depth.
All fair. With tissue culture, we're taking the laboratory methods of cloning plants and making it into tools for people to use at home. We are taking the growing points of plants and growing them on a solution of nutrients and sugar so that we're giving them the energy source and then influencing their growth with branching or rooting hormones to create lots of new plants in little tiny tubes.
Well, very cool. And once again, this is Bill Graham.
Pleasure to be here.
Ew, Grubby call. It appears there's a gentleman over there who looks like he wants to talk to someone. I think we should walk over there and see what he has to say. All right, Alfred, I'm game. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hi, I'm here with Dinesh and Optic Fuller.
Hey, good afternoon, Grubby. How are you today?
I'm doing well. And what brings you here to the Indoor Garden Expo?
Here to highlight our Overgrow foliar spray. It's a product that you can use with the lights on, no damage or burning.
And can you tell me a little bit about foliar sprays?
Absolutely. It's underutilized method of trying to speed up growth. A lot of guys use it for bugs and mildew, but the potential of getting pushing your growth faster and getting more yield is something that's been overlooked for many years, and it's a solution that we have with our Transport and our Overgrow and our Watts that really help you push growth and hit new plateaus in your yield.
Well, that's very cool. And without giving away any trade secrets, can you tell me a few of the things that are in it?
Absolutely. It's got a full spectrum of all your NPK micros. It's got over 21 aminos, vitamins, sugars, carbohydrates, and B1. And basically our Overgrow is a multi-purpose spray that has it all. It's ready to use that you can use with the lights on. It's performance, miticide, fungicide, all in one with no damage or burning.
And again, what was the name of the product?
That is our Optic Foliar Overgrow.
And you are?
Dinesh from Optic Foliar.
Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you for stopping by.
Well, hey, Grubby, we got time for about one more short one. Yeah, it'll be time for a break. But your bird on me, because I've been using my magical spells to travel through time and space. And I know that when we come back from the break, we'll be talking to Harlan. And Harlan's very interesting. If you never heard Harlan talk, because couple things, Harlan knows a lot and Harlan can talk a lot. You get Harlan talking and he can really talk a lot, but he's got some interesting things to say. So it's some good stuff in there too. So make sure to come back after the break. But after the next little clip, and then after the break, and then he'll be hollering, I need me some magical potion.
I'm here with Alex and RX Green Solution, and they have a product, Axiom, and what I would like to know is what it is and why I'd want to put it on my plants.
All Right. So Axiom Harpin Protein is a foliar application product. It is a granular product that you mix with water. What happens is you spray it on the plant in a very light mist. What happens is the plant is tricked into thinking it's under attack. So the plant will boost its natural immune system, creating thicker stalks, fuller foliage, which will increase yield because the plant is working in overdrive. So we suggest is once every 2 weeks, once you start your nutrient line up until flush, you spray Axiom on the plant. A light mist is all you need because of that. And what we like to say is when it's used in that from the beginning of grow all the way through flush, it looked like a plant was grown in the Amazon because of the fact that it's working in overdrive. And Harpin is we have all the patents on it. So in the United States, Axiom's your plant.
And so you were saying it's a very mild stressor, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's a systemic response. So as soon as it's felt on the plant, the leaf receptors, it'll feel through the entire plant, increase the cell wall thickness on a biological level, and that's what starts the kind of the chain reaction and the plant working harder from the inside out.
And once again, who are you and who are you with?
Alex with RX Green Solutions.
And in addition to Axiom, it looks like you have several other fine products. You want to give me a quick little blurb?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our life cloning products. We have a solution, a mist, and a gel. We have a 4-part nutrient line. Is it a true 4-part? No additives are needed whatsoever. You can find our feeding chart on our website. We also have our own pH adjusters, a pH raise with a potassium hydroxide, and a pH lower with a phosphoric acid.
Well, very cool. And I hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here.
All right, thanks you.
This program is brought to you in part by Kind from Botanica. I must say it's still a bit early to tell for sure, but the tomatoes in my garden that I've switched to Kind seem to be happy. I'll keep you posted as to how they are doing as time goes on. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show on DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com.
Your garden's looking far out. You must listen to dfzradio.com.
Three-part nutrient system that is the culmination of over 15 years of research and development. The Kind Plant Nutrient System. Designed by leading plant physiologists, this is the most versatile, effective, yet easy-to-use plant nutrient system ever created. It all starts with Kind Base. Kind Base contains nitrogen and calcium, but no trace minerals, magnesium, or sulfur. By placing those nutrients in the Grow and Bloom formulas, you have greater control over how your plants grow in your medium of choice. Using coco coir or RO water, just add more base to increase calcium levels. Growing in clay pebbles or rock wool, then just reduce the amount of base to ensure the proper calcium level. It's that easy. Kind Grow contains trace minerals and a proprietary blend of all natural ingredients to help maximize root growth, reduce internodal spacing, and create a lush canopy. Kind Bloom was formulated with the optimum phosphorus to potassium ratio. Your plants will have healthy branch and stalk development, accelerated flower set, and increased yields. Kind Bloom also contains magnesium to help improve photosynthetic efficiency, which is critical in accelerated growth environments. To put it more simply, Botanicare's Kind nutrient system is the only nutrient system that is fully customizable to your kind of plants and medium. Botanicare Kind Base, Grow, and Bloom. Fully customizable. Any plant, any medium. For more information, go to botanicare.com. Botanicare Kind. Make it your kind.
dfzradio.com.
welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash, and you're listening to us on dfzradio.com.
And now it's time for a Buzz of the Circle Table.
Welcome back. I'm here at the Maxim Yield Indoor Garden Expo in Seattle, and today's special guest, Bud from the Circle Table, is Harlan with Grow University and Raw Nutrients.
Okay, I'm Harley Smith. I'm the research director for Grow University. We do online classes for growing training for growers and for sales staff. So the hydroponics sales staff can give better advice to growers.
And having an educated sales staff is very important to a hydro shop because that's where people go to learn a lot of this stuff.
As you well know, that's why your shows must be very popular, because people keep going to learn more. The more you know, the better you'll be able to grow. You can improve quality, you can improve yield, you can improve the natural resistance to pests and disease.
Absolutely. And as general listeners can attest to, that I am a big proponent of that.
Yes. One of the things I'll talk about for a minute is amino acids. In the Netherlands, it's against the law to use any fungicide on food crops because all known fungicides, chemical fungicides, have at least the potential for negative side effects for human beings. So overnight, the growers in the Netherlands were losing 40% of their crop to powdery mildew and gray mold because they were growing in hoop houses, high humidity, and they couldn't use fungicides. So
and those are very common problems here in the States as well, particularly with indoor gardens.
That's right. So they started to experiment with organic biostimulants that were being developed in Germany. And they went from losing 40% of the crop to losing zero. They got a 10% increase in yield over any past year, and they were first in the line for sugar content in the fruit, all with Eco 1, 100% organic. You could drink it, it wouldn't even hurt you. It's that safe for human beings.
And since, again, that's a very common problem, especially on the East Coast and that where things are very humid. Again, what is it that they use to such good effect?
Okay. Here's the key. It took me 5 years to solve the mystery, but I'll share it with you today. Amino acids. Amino acids like glutamic acid and glycine literally chelate calcium. They make calcium available that normally gets locked up in the soil, and at the same time, they stimulate root cells to open up calcium ion channels. So the plant takes up calcium 1,000 times faster than simple osmosis. Instead of one ion at a time going into the root of calcium, 1,000 go in. If you add CalMag, it just sits there. But you want to get the calcium into the plant. The plant takes up calcium. It makes the glue that glues the cell walls together, the pectins. So when a mold spore lands on a leaf, say powdery mildew spore, it sends out a germination tube. It wants to penetrate the cells and get to the water in the interstitial space. But if you have more pectin in the cells instead of water, by the time the germination tube penetrates the cell, it dries up and dies. So it isn't killing the fungus, it's preventing the powdery mildew from getting established in the first place.
Okay, so how can we get more amino acids in the garden? What sorts of things can we add to it to apply the amino acids?
Well, we'll find an amino acid product with L-amino acids. Sometimes on the bottle, if you're comparing products, it won't say amino acids. It'll say protein hydrosylates that are made. There are L-amino acids that are literally made by microorganisms. In nature, microorganisms make enzymes, digestive enzymes that break proteins down into amino acids right on the roots. So nature's been doing this for millions of years to help with the uptake of calcium. In our indoor gardens, though, we can literally take an amino acid product, add it to our nutrients, and get thicker stems, stronger cell walls, and higher bricks too. Because if the vascular system of the plant is stronger, the stems and leaves, the plants take up water and all of the other minerals more efficiently. Then the plant is able to do more the chemistry of life. The bricks goes up, the sugar content in the sap. So not only are you getting stronger physical barrier to the powdery mildew, you're having a reserve of energy to fight it if it gets it. One little extra thing here, when the plant takes up that extra calcium because of your amino acids, like glutamic acid and glycine, some of it is used to strengthen the cell walls, we just said. The extra calcium, though, is pumped into a storage compartment in the cell of the plant called a vacuole. Now, if a little powdery mildew did germinate on the surface of a leaf, there's a little hot spot, the plant literally senses the chitin in the cell walls of the fungus. Knows plants don't have chitin, they have cellulose. So it knows it's under attack. It sends a signal molecule from the surface of the leaf to the vacuole to open up calcium ion channels inside the cell. The plant releases that extra calcium. It starts what's called an oxidative burst. It's the plant's first line of defense against insects and especially against fungi. So you have a chemical reserve of energy and of extra calcium to fight the powdery mildew. That's why the growers in the Netherlands reduced losses from 40% to 0, because it never had a chance to get established and spread in the crop.
And it also has the benefit of being, in part, a preventative measure, so it's not something that you have to wait until there's a problem before you reap the benefits of.
Right. In fact, that's what you want to do. You want to use it all the way through vegetative growth to have a stronger, more disease-resistant plant. Once you have powdery mildew and you try to do that, it's too late. It's not going to fight powdery mildew then because you already have a weak plant. There's one other part with it too, though. In your nutrients, you don't want to overdo it with nitrate nitrogen, because if you use too much nitrogen, you get big cells with thin cell walls. It actually makes the plant more susceptible to pests and disease. So keep the nitrate nitrogen just to adequate levels. Add your amino acids to get your calcium uptake, and you'll see the difference. You'll have the thickest stems in your indoor garden than you've ever had in the past.
Well, Hartley, thank you very much for taking some time out of your schedule.
Okay, well, good luck, good growing. Make sure you also, in addition to your classes, please tell your people to go to growuniversity.net, and I have live classes from time to time. If you see something interesting, drop in. They're free.
Thank you very much. Always good to talk to you, sir. And we're here at the Maxim Yield Indoor Garden Expo in Seattle.
Okay, see you later.
Flash! And now it's time for your moment of meditation.
Hey, Grubby, you on? It's time for your moment of meditation, Grubby. Grubby. Yo, Grubby. Hey, Herb, what's up? Oh, Grubby, it's time for this week's moment of meditation, man. You're on. What? Oh, man. I thought we were going to skip that this week, and I already did my breathing exercises. Grubby, it's that's unprofessional, Grubby. Well, all right, then. I guess we'll just try to find somebody to talk to. Yeah. If you think that's a good idea, man, all right. Let's go find some. Hey, there's Scott. Yo, Scott. Hey, let's go talk to Scott. Oh, all right, Grubby. We're going to go talk to Scott from Botanicare. I'm here at the Maxim Yield Indoor Garden Expo in Seattle, and I'm here with Scott from Botanicare.
How you doing? Great to be here. Having a great time.
You know, Scott, I was just walking by here, and I saw that you've got some nutrients here. So what's the name of the nutrients?
Oh, you must be talking about the kind.
Yeah, you know, that's what I'm asking you, man. I'm asking you, what kind of nutrients are they?
Yeah, the kind.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. I just want to know, what kind of nutrients are you guys trying to sell here?
Right. You're talking about the kind, Grubby.
Oh, okay, I get it. It's a kind-based nutrient system and a kind-bloom nutrient system.
I think you're kind of getting the deal here.
There we go. Now, can you tell me what is nifty about the kind system?
If there's anything you're going to remember about kind, is that there's no CalMag required. We built kind around our CalMag product, and as all you growers know out there, CalMag is one of the most important and essential elements you're going to add to your garden. And with kind, you don't need to add it because it's already built in.
Oh, very cool.
Now, does it make a difference what media you're using? If it's cocoa, do I maybe want to add a little, or?
We fine-tuned this product to work in all different types of growing methods. Obviously, if you're using a cocoa-based medium or you're growing in soil, you're going to tweak the formulation a little bit to your needs, but it's a totally customizable formula. It's about 80% mineral, 20% organic. It gives you kind of the best of both worlds in that regard, and it's just an all-around complete nutrient for your plants.
Okay, now I don't see it here, but I was told that you have a tea product. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have a product.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very good. I got to tell you, man. I tried it. It was not my cup of tea, man.
Not your cup of tea. Maybe your plant's cup of tea, though. You know what I mean? This is a tea that's brewed specifically for what your plants are going to need. It's a complete. The product's called Pure Blend Tea. It's actually one of the original Botanicare products, and it's a completely 100% organic biostimulant that can complement any mineral-based nutrient to help bring out aromas and flavors in all the plants that you're growing.
Well, that sounds very cool. And when would I use this? Or what sort of, when would I use it?
Yeah, so the tea is going to be used, you can use it in conjunction. If you're using a mineral-based nutrient, I'd recommend using it in conjunction with that with every feeding. If you're growing in like a super soil or you're in an outdoor environment, you can use the Pure Blend tea to use in between your actual feeding. So you could use the tea to carry over to the next feeding because it's got just enough in it to help your plants out throughout that transition.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy day. Once again, you are?
I'm Scott with Botanicare with a really awesome kind of nutrient.
Thank you very much.
You got it, Grubby.
I just want to take a quick minute and thank the folks over at Maxim Yield for putting on the show, and for Maxim Yield Magazine for publishing my articles. The next Maxim Yield show is going to be in Los Angeles, July 25th and 26th. And the one following that will be the Boston show. It's in October 24th and 25th. With any luck, I should be at both of those. So if you see me there, look forward to seeing you there. Speaking of seeing you, hanging out with you, etc., I will be at the Upper Peninsula Garden Center, which is in Bark River, Michigan. The phone number there is area code 906-723-3073. Once again, that's at the Upper Peninsula Garden Center at area code 906-723-3073 in Bark River, Michigan. The Grow with Grubby Cup show is brought to you by Dewey Mister Aeroponic Nozzles. The principle behind the Dewey Mister is a really sweet. They're driven by air instead of by water, which takes the water pump out of the nutrient solution, where you can dissipate the heat easier. And because there's no narrow apertures, they tend to be anti-clog. You don't have the same sorts of clogging troubles that I've had with similar type things. So check them out. That's Dewey Mister Sprayers, Dewey Mister Misters. Available in a variety of fine hydroponic stores all across the nation. Also brought to you by Grow With Us Hydroponics. If you're in the Rhode Island, Warwick area and you need some hydroponic supplies, stop on by at Grow With Us Hydroponics. Tell them Grubby sent you. Speaking of the Rhode Island, New England area, if you happen to be in the Rhode Island, New England area, stop off at Grow With Us Hydroponics, Home and Hydro, or Three Guys Hydroponics, all of which are very fine stores in the Rhode Island area, all of which are carrying Grubby Cup's potting mix. If you are in New York, make sure to stop off at Harvest Moon Hydroponics in Buffalo and in Rochester. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on dfzradio.com.
Your garden's looking far out. You must listen to dfzradio.com.
Botanicare is proud to introduce a revolutionary three-part nutrient system that is the culmination of over 15 years of research and development, the Kind Plant Nutrient System. Designed by leading plant physiologists, this is the most versatile, effective, yet easy-to-use plant nutrient system ever created. It all starts with Kind Base. Kind Base contains nitrogen and calcium, but no trace minerals, magnesium, or sulfur. By placing those nutrients in the Grow and Bloom formulas, you have greater control over how your plants grow in your medium of choice. Using coco coir or RO water, just add more base to increase calcium levels. Growing in clay pebbles or rock wool, then just reduce the amount of base to ensure the proper calcium level. It's that easy. Kind Grow contains trace minerals and a proprietary blend of all natural ingredients to help maximize root growth, reduce internodal spacing, and create a lush canopy. Kind Bloom was formulated with the optimum phosphorus to potassium ratio. Your plants will have healthy branch and stalk development, accelerated flower set, and increased yields. Kind Bloom also contains magnesium to help improve photosynthetic efficiency, which is critical in accelerated growth environments. To put it more simply, Botanicare's Kind Nutrient System is the only nutrient system that is fully customizable to your kind of plants and medium. Botanicare Kind Base, Grow, and Bloom. Fully customizable. Any plant, any medium. For more information, go to botanicare.com. Botanicare Kind. Make it your kind.
We're listening to DFCRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. Just a quick plug before we continue. If you are a hydroponic shop and you have an account with Nichols City Wholesale Garden Supply, go ahead and give Mike over there a call and ask him about the special he's running on Grubby Cup's potting mix. Make sure to stock up for the spring season. Grubby Cup. How is the lamp working going? Oh, hey, Alfred. It's going all right. I made some ugly Christmas tree ornaments to take with me up to Seattle. I didn't get to take as many as I wanted to because I spaced out and let the kiln get a little too hot. So some of the batch that I meant to take up there was they got kind of deformed because they got too hot in the kiln. They kind of melted on one side. But overall, slowly but surely, I'm improving, and I was able to drop off a few of the ugly Christmas tree ornaments to friends and that over at the Seattle show, and that was always cool. I have to admit, the biggest kick I've gotten out of lamp working so far has got to be a tie between being able to make your own ugly Christmas tree ornaments for your own use and the expression you get when you give them out to friends and associates. And it's fun to do. So if it's your kind of thing, look into it. Take a couple classes. If nothing else, it'll give you a better appreciation for what all goes into making ugly Christmas tree ornaments and that. And while we have a little bit of time, I just want to give a shout out to Nature's Pride and Circle H Worm Castings, my CO2, Raw Nutrients, Dynagrow Nutrients, the My Garden Post people, My Current H2O, the Green Ped Generator, and Grow Light for their help and assistance with the Grow Tag directory, which can be found at grubbycup.com. Gives a listing of your favorite hydroponic stores. If you don't see yours, fill out the little form under the Ask Grubby Cup, and I'll get it added. And check it out. It gives announcements to upcoming store events. There is soon to be a contest. We're going to do another set of contests here coming up on the show, as well as on the website. And again, if you are a sales representative in the hydroponic industry and are not currently using some sort of customer relation management type software, the back end of the Grow Tag directory has store visit record keeping capabilities for store visits and sales reps. The latest edition adds an email price list functionality, as well as the to-do list and the store visit documentation, the reporting, and the rest of the cool stuff that goes on behind there. So if you are interested, get a hold of me and I can walk you through how it works and what it would take to get signed up for it. And just a gardening tip reminder, we're coming up on the last frost date on some of the warmer places throughout the country. So keep an eye out for your last frost date in your area, because in a lot of vegetables and that you want to set out, you want to start your seeds indoors a little bit before then so you can set them out right after the last frost date. Luck out here in La Mancha, we're a pretty temperate climate, so our last frost date is coming up. It's usually about mid-March or so. So I'll be setting out my indoor starts here coming up before it's too long. One of the new plants I'm trying this year is the Mortgage Lifter Heirloom Tomato. I haven't tried them before. They looked interesting. I'll keep you posted on how they go this year. As you make your spring starts, as long as you are not doing that plant that shall not be named, go ahead and post a picture of your lovely new babies over on the Grow with Grubby Cup page on Facebook. Again, please be respectful in none of that plant, but any and all other plants, feel free to post. And that's about all the time we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in for another episode, the 60th already, of the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I've been your host, Grubby Cup Stash, and you've been listening to us on DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. Until next week, peace, love, and puka shells.
You got some seeds to grow, he'll keep you in the know. Variety to claim, so baby, what's his name? He's a man to know. He'll make your garden grow. Grubby Cup's his name. He's the man who'll make a change.
Well, gee whiz, you listen to the whole show and you even listen to the very end of the theme song and everything. Alright, well, this is Herb the Wizard, and I'll let you in on a little secret if you happen to know Grubby personally and you're looking for an ugly Christmas tree ornament. I happen to know that he's saving up for a bass guitar for his birthday, which is in a couple months. So if you're interested in getting one of Grubby's ugly Christmas tree ornaments, I happen to know he's kind of motivated to sell some, so maybe he could get a guitar for his birthday, and he'll like that a lot. This is your friend Herb the Wizard. Until next week, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Your garden's looking far out. You must listen to DFZRadio.com.